change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Everywhere I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve.
Good morning. How you doing? Robertson County, yes, but worldwide. Yeah, that's something that hit me last night. Hi, y'all. This is U-Turn Laverne. This is 1100 WSGI, and this is one street over. And I was thinking last night how, I was at Decisions, Choices, and Options. If you have not checked that out, go and Google Decisions, Choices, and Options and go give them some money, because they're in the middle of their big fundraiser, and we were there last night, and we're trying to raise a lot of money to take care of their budget for the next year. So go and do that. But as I was thinking about what I was going to say, as I started to say hello, I was like, well, I can't say hello Robertson County like I do on one street over. And then I thought, you know what? This is a worldwide Christian broadcast company. So hello, brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. How are you doing this morning? I'll just do that. And I've got guests in studio with me. This is Faith Friday. Oh my goodness, John Cohea is in the house. This young man, and he's brought Mama and Daddy too, got Karla and Ted Cohea here with John. And I'm so excited to have you here. Good morning, young man.
Good morning.
I am so proud of you. He is one of my students, y'all. This has been, you just get, God just does crazy, awesome stuff. And my only regret is that you're a senior and I only get you for this year, because I think we could have had a whole lot of fun with you with the audio video program, because you just like this stuff, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I know. So John is a senior at Greenbrier High School, and he ends up not in my audio video program, but in my business communications class, because as we're building audio video, I have to teach other things, and that's a very obvious thing for me to teach. My degree is in communications, just the emphasis is in media and broadcasting, but I ran a business for 20 years. I'm an entrepreneur still, and so business communications, I can do that. So that was a very logical choice for me. And then I had talked to John or seen John around school and stuff, didn't know his story at all. And he comes in, and you just fall in love with this young man. You guys have done a good job, Mom and Dad.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, y'all have to pull that microphone to you. Mom and Dad are going to be sharing one. Ted's like, y'all just talk. I'm just here for moral support. I'm just praying them through, just here with them. And and you work with school system, too. you're with building. Go ahead and pull that microphone over. So, hey, Ted. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, and so I see you're with Building and Grounds. I don't guess I realized that.
Yes, ma'am. I've been with them about 3 years.
Okay. Well, it's so funny because somebody will say something about, well, John's dad's out here, and I'm like, man, he just seems to always be around. Well, there you go. That's why. That is why. How funny is that? Well, that's good, though. How that works great. Because, we got things you got to get done and all that. And so I love you, young man here. He's just awesome. Just an awesome guy. So, John was saying, he goes, Mom and Dad are like, what are we going to talk about for an hour? I'm like, nah, we're just on the porch chit-chatting, talking about everybody's story. And John actually has his testimony. I was talking to him and Miss Cheryl yesterday, his assistant that works with him there at the school. How long has she been working with you, Miss Cheryl?
This year.
This year. And she's super sweet. It's so funny because she'll be sitting in the class with John, and she's my eyes in the back of the classroom. And it's so nice. I wish I had an adult in all of my classrooms in the back of the room going, Miss Vivio, they're on their phone. Because, you'll collect phones, and they'll go, oh, my phone's in my truck. Really, is it? Really, is it? And so, you don't want to say, I think you're lying to me, but Miss Cheryl will go. And of course the students are, we don't care. We're grown-ups. We just like to irritate them. But anyway, she's awesome. So, yeah, y'all are a good team. You're a good team. So I tell you, how do we want to start this? Let's okay, now we know what Ted does. He works for Building Grounds. What do you do, Karla? This is Karla Cohea, and this is Mom. So what do you do?
I'm a certified pharmacy technician at Southside Drugs.
Well, there you go. And we love
Shout out to Southside.
Southside loves Southside Drugs. Oh my goodness, your lunch counter. What's going on with the lunch counter? Because I know
we've had a few changes.
Okay,
Adam left. He's
preaching.
He is preaching, yes. But we have Will that's there that's helping with Tammy. And
okay,
it's going great.
Okay, well, good deal.
Snacks.
Well, see, and
milkshakes are my favorite.
What is it?
Milkshakes.
Well, and I've got to get in there and try that. I love Adam to pieces. His mom has been my hairdresser for. You know how hairdressers, they're your family. Mm-hmm. And so Penny's been with me. We've been friends for so many years, my sister. And so I know him very, very well and have watched his progression through high school and marriage and kiddos and what he was doing with the lunch counter and now preaching. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. But right. I got to know a little bit more about Southside because of that. And what a wonderful history you guys have. Yes. How long has that been around?
Over 100 years.
That's crazy. Yeah. That is so cool. That is so stinking cool. And it's just a cool little, I just love our city and how we're bringing back to life all those little niches. And y'all have never gone anywhere, but it's just kind of the light, it's just this light shining brighter over there again. Does that fair to say?
Yes. Drew and Ian are doing a lot of things, bringing in a lot of new things.
Yeah.
Pharmacist, it's great.
I love it. But, well, very cool. I'm so glad you mentioned that. And, man, you guys are bringing it this morning. We got all kinds of people popping on. We've got extra folks on the comments today. Crooked Eye Tommy's on here. I don't know if y'all have met Tommy Marsh. He's our blues guy here in town. He's a newbie. He's on here saying hi. Barbara Willis, she's saying hello. And Michelle Gregory is with us this morning. Miss Gregory, I love you. She is our everything for Fellowship of Christian Athletes at Greenbrier. Just so proud of her. Wendy Cohea's on here, so everybody's on here this morning. So I think I got everybody. But we appreciate you guys joining us. So I'm going to have you in more. I have a better audience. I got more people checking in on us this morning.
He's a popular guy.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So how do we want to start? John said whenever he came in to talk about Coach and the book, do you want to plug the book real quick before we go any further? So there's a book out there, and you helped on it. Tell them about it real quick.
There is a book called 1928 to 1972. It's on Coach Boyd Smith's life, and you can buy it on Amazon or the Springfield History Museum.
Okay, well, very good. And it is out now, and you can get it. And it's so funny. We had to do the speeches in class, and every time we had an informative speech, so he's talking about the book, and then we're gonna sell something. Are you gonna try to sell us the book too? I knew that's gonna be your topic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had a feeling. I didn't even hardly have to ask because I'm going to have them all. Because I've in business communications, I said your next presentation, I want you to sell something, and I said I want you to really hard sell it. And I thought John's going to sell the book, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
That would be so easy.
Yeah, well, and you don't have to do that, but I'm just in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I bet you that's what John wants to do. But that's perfectly fine. But when he was in here, when we were talking about the book, he said, Miss Vivio, can I come back and share my testimony? I was like, well, yeah, that sounds like a good Faith Friday topic. So we put it on the calendar at that point, and he has been greatly anticipating it. We had a little thing going on yesterday, and that he was concerned. He was like, oh, does that mean we got to cancel tomorrow? I'm like, no, we're good. And so he's been so excited. So how do you want to start, young man? Where do you want to start?
Do you want us to start the story about when you were born?
You're going to have to talk on that microphone. So, okay, so.
I don't care.
Do you want us to just start with that?
I
So
don't care.
they're talking about so maybe Carla's going to just talk about at the time of your birth. Let's go back. Let's go back to the very beginning. There we
Right.
go. There you go. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So John was born at 29 weeks, which is 11 weeks early. Mm-hmm. Emergency right out the gate. Ted was there. Me and Ted together, and my mom. His parents were out of town. So they had been telling us a lot of things, not what they should have been telling us, but, it's going to be an emergency when it happens. And so, of course, it was, even though I'd been in the hospital a week. They let his heartbeat stop. So emergency C-section. And they came out and they told Ted they didn't think that either one of us were going to make it.
Oh, wow.
And everybody in my church, our church, prayed, stopped. Ted prayed, my mom. And I know that started his testimony, was God saved him that day.
Yeah.
That day. His APGAR scores were 0. We had an amazing nurse practitioner. Her name's Vicki Herman. She's still a big part of our life. So that started his testimony that day.
Well, and saving your life too. My
As well,
goodness.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a presence that night tell me that everything was going to be okay. And from that point on, I knew that he was going to make it.
I love it. I love it that you had a presence. Tell me a little bit more about that. People, I say, yeah, God speaks to me. And they're like, well, what's that like?
Well,
it's like, it's just in your spirit, man. You
Right.
when you're in the Word and you're seeking God, yeah, He speaks to your spirit. So what was your experience?
They went off, and I was left alone after surgery, in the recovery room or whatever. And I was in and out. I'd lost a lot of blood. I was on a lot of medication. I remember the doctor coming in, and he had laid his head on the bed, and he was just apologizing, And I remember just going back out, and I was laying there, and I opened my eyes, and I could just see. I didn't see a person, but I just felt this something comforting me and telling me everything's going to be okay. I'm here. I'm with him, and John is going to be okay.
Uh-huh.
And we had, we already had his name picked out, and so everybody started praying for John right then, and it was amazing.
I love how you said, and I had a comfort. Well, we do have a comforter and a helper.
Yes.
And that's what the Holy Spirit's all about, you guys. So I just love hearing those stories. I just love hearing those stories. Okay. So you knew from the very get-go that you had something special here, right?
I did.
I love it. I
did.
love it.
It was, and I always put my faith. I mean, I haven't always been the one to go to church every Sunday, but I'm a huge believer, and I believe in the power of prayer. I mean, I've seen it over and over and over again with John's story and with other family members. And so I know as a child growing up, as he's grown up with disabilities, he's had lots of questions. Why did God make me this way? Why did God do this to me? Why did he make me different? And it's hard as a parent. I know both of us, we've cried, we've prayed, we've been angry. But finally, one day we were talking about it, and it came to us, God made you different, and God made you special to touch everybody, to be their light.
Yeah.
Because he never gives up. He's amazing. He's resilient, and he's a little spoiled.
Oh.
But I'm
That's
so
all right.
I'm
Are
so-
you kidding me? That's all
we're,
right.
we're super proud of
Yeah.
all of his accomplishments.
I just love y'all, man. I'm just sitting here watching these parents, and you can just see the heart of the parents and the eyes and the tears welling up. Wow, what a just in your presence, you're a testimony.
Thank you.
Just being in your presence. When Ted came to pick John up, when he was here the first time, just coming over and you kissed him on top of the head, and you're just overwhelming love that you can just see just is so incredibly special. And like I said, you can just see that testimony in your presence, and I'm just honored to know you guys. I'm just so glad that God brought you into our life. And I'll just tell you right now, whatever we're building, I mean, I don't know where God's going to take what we're doing with the program at Greenbrier, but come back and see us. Once we're setting up the podcasting, and we're doing all the things in there, and I don't know what all we're going to do. Tommy Marsh was on here. It's so funny that Tommy comes on. He's got a song that I want us to do the video for so bad at Greenbrier, and we've just not been ready. And I told him, I said, now we're going to do this because it's just a song that needs to be, the video needs to be done in a high school. And I can't tell you any more than that. I'll get him to come in here and play it for us again, but it's just a powerful song. It's just a good song, and it's about being the right kind of people. And it's blues, and so Tommy,
awesome.
please let us do that. I don't know what that means. Maybe we can get it done this year still. I don't know. But we're going to do some fun things there, and you're welcome anytime. You hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean it. You're welcome anytime. So, all right, John. All right. I tell you what, go ahead, and I'm going to take you another, because we're right about 17 after. Really, do you think we're not going to be able to fill an hour? I told Gwen to kind of be on standby in case y'all just felt like you were done after 30 minutes. But, yeah, Gwen, I think we're good. I think we're going to be fine. I think we can fill an hour here. But I need to do a commercial. So let's pause. We got to pay for all this. I mean, we're a Christian broadcast station, but things still cost money, y'all. I mean, if you were in this studio and looking at this cool board, one of the first things Karla says is, man, control boards used to be really big. They just replaced our control board. That's why you might see me, kind of messing around trying to learn new things, because things have changed a little bit. So we got to pay for it. And the way we do that is with wonderful sponsors like Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gifts and Gardening Center. My dear friends, I just love the Corbins. They're just so awesome. Miss Amy and Miss Jane. Go out and see them, pour some love on them, and I'll just be very bold. When that wind came through the other day, it messed them up. And while the plastic and things, they were able to re-stretch it pretty quickly on one of the greenhouses. One of them had to have some structural work. So, that stuff gets real costly, y'all. Go out there and spend some money with your local gardening center that is just there for the community again and again and again. You never see anything really going on in the community that they're not out there supporting it. Just amazing family, amazing trio. Now, Miss Amy did come on yesterday and say, beware, because the triplets now have permits or something, so they're on the road. So get ready for that. And you know the backstory to that. This weekend is the Full Bloom Festival at Corbin Creek Greenhouse. It starts at 9 a.m. So I don't know what time I'm going to be there, but I'm going to be there at some point on Saturday morning, because I've got some things I need from my yard. I want some of that pink grass, that muley grass that Lacey Bew just touts. Oh, it is cool. It is really cool. It looks like cotton candy. And if you're going to have a garden, you need to go get your bedding plants from Corbin Creek. Brian Pooley, that's with United Way, said last year they got every one of their bedding plants from Corbin. Absolutely the best garden they ever had. So there you go. There's your testimony. Go get your bedding plants. Keeping in mind, it's still a little bit early to plant tomatoes. The general rule is you don't really want to put those things in the ground until the 15th of tax day. But you've still got to be ready to cover, because we could still have some cold temperatures and some things where you're going to have to cover because of frost. So kind of keep that in mind. But while you're there, a lot of people don't realize if you go inside the store, that's where you're going to find handcrafted items by Miss Jane and other folks, some local artisans. You're going to find the local CBD products that help me tremendously with my arthritis. Tremendously, guys. Go and check it out. But they're at 4920 Highway 161. Want to see you there this weekend for the Full Bloom Festival, Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Come out and join us, 4920 Highway 161. If you have questions, you can call them 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185. Always let them know U-Turn sent you. And here we go. John, the floor is yours. John Cohea, he's got a testimony to share. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm talking about answer to prayer. It's, John, he was talking the other day. When the first time he came in, after the show, I walked into the classroom and he goes, Miss Vivio, my speech was clearer than it's ever been this morning. And I said, well, you know what, John? I was praying for that as I drove in that morning. So answer to prayer, and I was praying for that this morning too, because I know you want it to be. He sings too, by the way, y'all. And I've never, it's always during lunch, and I never can get out there, and so I haven't. And he's in the chorus, and I mean, there's nothing. He's like, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. So, John, you have the floor.
The power of prayer is real. Prayer is mentioned 375 times in the New Testament. In 1 Thessalonians 5:15, pray without ceasing. Thessalonians 5:18 says,
You just take your time, young man. Mm-hmm.
give thanks in everything, for this is the God's will for you in Christ Jesus, without ceasing. My favorite verse, I think it applied to me is James chapter 5, 13 through 16. And it says, if anyone is among you suffering, he should pray. If anyone suffer, he should sing praises. If anyone among you is sick, he will call the elder of the church, and they may all pray over him, anointing him with oil in the name of the Lord. The power of faith will save the sick person, and the Lord will raise him up. If he has committed sins, he will be forgiven. As you know, I have CP, and it's very helpful praying about now. It is very helpful, and I did have the choice. I have wonderful friends and family praying for me, like football and basketball. Having to watch from the sideline is so hard when I did that. My mom and dad always tell me God made me special and God have a plan for me. I reminded myself of this first, and the reason he be thankful should continually be singing and praising to the Lord. I am reminded of the last part of this verse when I went to bed about 4:30 and said all of the other children were saved than me. I was blessed with a good mind. I can do anything I can do for myself, and with help I can walk. James 5:14. Is anyone sick? He should call for the elder of the church and pray over him. No. When I was going through heart surgery on my spine, the church prayed over me, and I went through it fine. Then that surgery helped me in many ways. I was born December 4, 2004. My due date was February 21st, 2005. Things were very scary for me. When I was delivered, I had no oxygen for a few minutes. I have a wonderful nurse practitioner who gave me CPR and brought me back. And all this time, my grandmother had been on the phone giving a praise case daughter. I have family in the chapter for me. Even though the native daughter said there was no hope for me, they kept praying for me. My mother believed that Jesus came in her came to her in the recovery room and telling her I will be fine. My dad tried to see me. He would tell me not to touch me, but he grabbed me by the foot, and all at once my heart began to get stronger. I spent 65 days in the hospital. God have other plans for me. My grandmother said everywhere she went in town, people would say, I am praying for your grandson. The power of prayer. March 17, 2019, I have a swimming pool accident called not fatal to mercy. My Aunt Amy pulled me from the water and the CPR until the ambulance arrived. I was unresponsive at the time. The ER doctor didn't give me much hope. My church family started a prayer chain, and so did the folks in Birmingham Plain and Springfield and Greenboro. I was life flighted from from Destin, Florida to Pensacola. When my grandmother already stepped off the elevator, she heard me talking. God answered prayer again. You must be thankful and should continuously be singing praises to the Lord. I have so much to be thankful for, and I believe in the power of prayer.
That's beautiful, John. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So many. Okay, there's several things we're going to have to talk about that you brought out in that, and because he's mentioned some of these things to me, but I haven't heard the whole story. He mentioned the swimming pool accident, and I tell you, but the first thing I want to talk about is Dad grabbing your foot in the hospital. Did y'all? Oh my goodness, that is so cool. Okay, Ted, it's your turn to talk. Talk to me. What happened? What happened? So give your account. Pull that microphone right up to you. I tell everybody you got to get right on top of a microphone. So go for it.
I went in there and I was just kind of looking at him. And I just wanted to touch his foot. And when I did, because I told the nurse, I said, I touched his foot and he like jumped.
Uh-huh.
And she said, well, don't touch his foot because that'll mess him up. I said, well, he's mine. So I just wanted to touch him, man.
Yeah.
And then his heart rate and everything started getting a little stronger and a little stronger. So
I'm telling you, that's amazing. I love that. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so talk to me. You're there, and your bride, and they're telling you, she might not make it. And your son, I mean, do you just fall to your knees, right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, anything you want to share about that? I don't want to ask any specific question because I don't want to put you on the spot. Is there anything specific you want to share about that? Did you have that presence of spirit or?
I was just mad at the doctor.
I got you. I hear you. I mean, that happens. And that's one of those things. Those are hard places to be in when you think, okay, this isn't going the way it should. This isn't going the way it should. And you pray through those moments too. You pray through that anger. That's what you do, but I can't even imagine. God bless you. And I do. I just can't reiterate enough how that just being in your presence is a powerful testimony. So I tell you, we got to unpack so much more about John Cohea's story. If you're just joining us, well, you're going to want to go to the first of the show and you're going to want to start over and you're going to want to watch the whole thing and get the whole story. But John is a senior at Greenbrier High School, and it's just my absolute pleasure to get to know him in my class. He came into my business communications class. And so I just love how God opens up opportunities for you. Don't ever discount anything that comes in your path because God just opens up relationships and things. Haven't we been around each other in the past, Karla? I don't know. For some reason, you seem very familiar to me.
I just know that.
Go ahead and pull that microphone on over to you. You look so familiar to me.
I don't think so, but I just remember you from the radio.
From
I
radio,
guess.
yeah.
You never did live at Libby's or anything like that, did you?
No,
See, I don't know.
But you just look so familiar to me. Maybe I've seen you around town, but you just have that familiarity. And sometimes I think when you see somebody and you're like, oh, you look so familiar, I think maybe God's just been planning on bringing you in my path, and I'm like,
Maybe
okay,
so.
that's my friend, and I'm just meeting you. But
Yeah.
but God's making that clear. So I think sometimes those are things, because obviously we're going to be friends from now on,
Right.
Because you're going to have to come hang out with me at Greenbrier or something.
Maybe at Southside when you go in there.
That's one thing. That having been, I worked for so many years in Nashville. And I've said this many times on radio. One of the greatest pleasures of doing this show is how it's opened up the Robertson County community to me. Because always being a commuter, even though I was working traffic from home, our home church is Madison Church of Christ. That's where my home family is. Because when we married, we were in Nashville, lived in Hendersonville. So when we bought the property, we bought Lloyd Kite's old place, or a portion of it, to office our roofing company. And so with the kids going to Good Pasture, us being in Madison, we just kind of lived here. We didn't really live here.
Right.
And so we knew the Hagans. And so we were always at Springfield Drugs.
Right.
So we never really knew about Southside.
Right.
And so I didn't really come to know about Southside until the light started shining in that part of the city again. And I'm like, well, that's a cool little drugstore here. What's this all about? And then Penny's, Adam started working there, and I learned a little bit more about it. And so, yeah, I've gone in there intentionally a few times just because I want to get to know him better, but I haven't. So it couldn't be in there. So, John's trying to help us figure out how I know Karla, because I just feel like I know her. But I just think that's just God saying, let me introduce you to your friend that I've been meaning to cross your paths all these years. But just so glad to get to know you guys. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and pause again. We're at the halfway point, see, and we still got to unpack a lot of stuff. But I do have a couple of commercials I still need to do. So if you have questions about families that are working through the community with cerebral palsy and things like that too, this is a good opportunity to ask them, because they live the life. And if you've got questions, if you're somebody that has questions, do you have a lot of people that come to you and say, I just need help? Maybe they're walking the same walk.
Not always. When he was in preschool, we formed a kind of a mom group, because there was several moms that had children in the special ed preschool program at Greenbrier.
Right.
And we kind of formed a group, and we've been together since they were 3 years old.
Isn't that great? Yeah.
Some of the kids have already graduated and moved on, but we all lean on each other. It's hard to find sources, if you don't know the right person, but I just want every mother, parent, family, always advocate for your child.
Yes.
You have to be their voice. You have to be. And he can be his own. He's working on being his own voice now.
He truly is.
So that's
Yeah.
a good thing. But
Yeah.
it's hard. So having those moms to lean on is, and I've met some through Southside.
Okay.
Some new moms that,
Yeah.
and we've had conversations, and a parent will come in there and I'm having trouble with the feeding tube, and I was like, let me help you.
Yeah.
I can say, you need to do this or try this, because
Yeah.
we've been through that,
Yeah.
all those things. So I would love to support and help anybody that I can.
Yeah.
'Cause it's a hard road for parents, for the child, for anybody.
Well, here's the thing. And, being a new parent is hard enough. Being a new parent and you have a child that's going to need some special help, oh my goodness, overwhelming. I can't imagine the moments that I love that John said. He goes, everywhere my parents would go, they would say, I'm praying for your grandson. I'm praying for or your grandparents would go, I'm praying for your grandson. That power of prayer, you had to have felt that.
Oh, we did. For sure.
As you guys were navigating those early days. I have a dear friend, their daughter has cerebral palsy. And just walking, knowing them all these years, we went to college together, and one day she caught me kind of staring at Katie. She's like, "What are you?" I said, "I'm just imagining her whole in heaven." I was just looking at her, and I was just like, "Wow." I'm just can't wait to see Katie in heaven. I can't wait, just to see all these things being able to be thrown off. And I still pray for those miracles of miracles here, because we're told He gonna do some crazy stuff in the last days, and we might be there. So I don't know. Wouldn't that be cool? To see some just mind blowing miracles that we hear that we read about in the scriptures, and I'm like, oh, I pray that over you and Katie. So those are my two that I know that have had to walk the walk with CP, and I pray for those big bold miracles, man. And so I just love y'all so much, but. Absolutely. I tell you, okay, we're going to pause. We're going to do it and do another break. Pay the bills. Pay the bills here. I'm talking with the Cohees, talking with John and Ted and Karla Cohea, and just part of my friends now. We just part of my family in Jesus Christ. My goodness, are you kidding me? I love just coming up and just saying hello, family, to everybody I meet. I'm just going to assume you know Jesus, and if you don't, then we'll talk. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's pause and let's talk about one of my favorite sponsors to talk about. I like they're all my favorite, but I like talking about Cumberland Connect because so much of my world is technology. And when I try to work from home, before I was, the internet that I had, AT&T, God bless you, it's wonderful, but what you had available for me was not awesome. And so I needed high-speed internet. I'm a photographer. I would get done with a client and a customer, and I would have to come up here to the radio station and steal the Ebenezer Broadcasting internet to upload my photos. Not anymore, because now I have a gig, and it only costs me $80, man. It's awesome. I have a gig. I love my children's illustration. All my kids are techie, and my sons go, Mother, that's like filling a bathtub with a fire hose. And then I ask them, well, what's your internet? Well, I have a gig, but like they need it, but I don't. But $80 get you a gig, y'all. And if you are a Cumberland Electric customer, you are going to have access to high-speed internet because the internet is a utility now. We all need it. It's just like our phone lines. And it's really more important our phone lines now. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. I'm not going to go there. But you can call 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362, or you can go to cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org. And maybe you say, I'd love to have high-speed internet. I can't afford it. But because it's a utility, now we have the Affordable Connectivity Program. And it provides qualifying households with monthly credit to help pay for internet services. And if you're eligible, you could receive a credit of up to $30 per month toward broadband services. So get it, and there is a package you can get for $30. You can get free internet if you qualify, guys. It is a utility. You need to check it out. Go to cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org. And when you do, always let them know that you turned Cincha and that I'm bragging on them big time. That I am bragging on them big time. What just happened? There we go. Now we got our number. All right, going back to the show. We're here at 1100 WSGI. I've got the Cohees in the house. I've mentioned my friend John Cohea several times. Well, it's so funny because I'll do the show and I'll look on here and he'll be listening. So we always have to say hi. And one of my friends too, Paul Rainey's on here. He was with me. Thank you for going to the Decisions, Choices, and Options dinner last night, Paul. And Mary and my friend Lauren. Have y'all met Lauren Gray? At Greenbrier. Yeah. She handles special needs, multiple disabilities, but she's got some of the younger ones in high school. And so because he has Miss Cheryl, he doesn't work with Miss Gray, I shouldn't say. She was at the Decisions Choice, and she's in the classroom, yeah. And this is her first year.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. This is her first year. And so, but nonetheless, she was at our dinner last night as well. And just again, appreciate you guys and appreciate Paul. And he says he actually has a brother with CP. And he says he's listening to you and he can hear his brother. Now, he's older like me. His brother's passed, but he said, yeah, he can hear his brother when he's listening to you. And I think that's filling his heart up this morning. So I want to hear a little bit more because he's mentioned to me several times. What? Yes, sir.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course you can. It's your show.
We don't know about that.
Last year, I made some incredibly awesome friends at Springfield High School, and they are my sister, and Avery, Courtney, Erica, Maddie, Bush, Maddie, Lila, and Courtney. I just want to thank you for everything you do for me.
Just being a friend.
being my friend.
I love that. That is awesome. So they are sisters to you now. I love that. That's awesome. I got to meet these girls. I don't know them. So you're going to have to tell them to come in the classroom. I want to meet them. Okay.
It's Springfield.
Not at Springfield.
Oh, they're at Springfield. I thought you meant they're at Greenbrier.
No,
Okay.
Springfield.
So have you been at Greenbrier the entire time?
Since he was 3.
Okay. So how did you meet these girls at Springfield?
Dad.
Okay. We're going to get a story here. Okay. Got a story.
Dad is Springfield alumni.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we got that. Oh, Greenbrier, huh? Oh, okay. Okay. So, but we've got these good friendships at Springfield. Awesome.
He makes friends pretty much everywhere he goes.
Oh, yes, I can see that. Absolutely, for sure. That's awesome. But, well, I love that you gave a shout out to your friend. So, hello. I'd love to meet them sometime, though, if they want to stop by. But, so we need to hear some clarification. He's mentioned the swimming pool story to me several times. So, what happened, Mom?
He was on spring break with his family, Ted's parents and sister and nieces and nephew. His sister went the beginning of the week to help with the kiddos.
So, y'all were down in Florida.
He was.
He
were
was
here
just down. You were down there by yourself.
with family.
Man.
Okay.
and
Okay, with family, not by
Yeah,
himself. I mean,
right.
they didn't put him on plane and say, have fun, John.
Right.
You know.
And we were here, and we
Yeah.
were going at the end of the week.
Gotcha.
So we got a call Sunday afternoon. I guess it was lunch on a Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. You can see his shirt, 2019.
I was trying to read that shirt. I was like, oh, my lifeguard walks on water, 3/17/2019. Praise the Lord. I love that.
Yes. Ted got a call, and it wasn't like his sister to just call out of the blue. You know, they were on vacation. They were supposed to be doing, and Ted said hello, and there was just silence, just dead silence. And then she said, Ted, I've got bad news. And she told us that John had drowned.
Oh my gosh.
And she was very calm. Amy's very calm. We're very thankful for Amy. She pulled him from the water. She dove in, pulled him from the water, did CPR till the ambulance arrived, along with Ted's mom. So we got the call, and the emergency room doctor there in Destin was not giving us very much hope. They just kept asking questions about, did he have seizures, because he was twitching and doing different things. You want to talk? Okay, I didn't think you did.
Ted's gone. Take it.
So at that point, we just stood there and looked at it. Well, he was sitting. We just stood there and looked at each other. What do you do? So the first thing I did was call one of my pharmacists that I work with, Miss Kim Bibb. I don't know if you know her, but she's an amazing lady, very Christian lady, very resourceful lady. And I said, Kim, I need help.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And I told her, and I said, I need some plane tickets. So immediately she got on the phone, and her husband, they started trying to find us plane tickets. Then she showed up at our house. And I lost it at that point. Like, I just fell to my knees in my driveway, and I just told God, I said, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready to lose him. You got to save my kiddo. Mm-hmm. And so things started falling in order. And we thought we couldn't find a plane. We couldn't find anything. And so we were going to drive. We thought, we'll just drive to Pensacola. Bad idea.
Oh.
So we get into Nashville, and it was about the time that the gangs or whatever were driving those four-wheelers all around Nashville.
Yes.
Well, we about took out some four-wheelers. I told Ted, I said, go to the airport.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So we did find a flight finally. We talked to the doctor when we were there. He was like, he didn't give us much hope. I just remember sitting in the airport thinking, okay, we're flying down here, and our son's not coming home. What are we going to do? And we sat there and we prayed together. We did. And so we flew into Atlanta because we had to change planes, of course. And as soon as we landed, we were turning our phones off to see if we have any updates. And we did. And he was transferred to Pensacola Children's Hospital. And when we called, the nurse, his grandmother said, "You're not going to believe this." And we were like, "What?" And she said, "Well, they sedated him to put him in the helicopter. And then it took us a while to get to Pensacola because they had to drive. And when she got off the elevator, she heard him say, 'I'm in Florida with my OB.'" And he was awake.
Oh my goodness.
So
Obie is your mom?
it's Ted's mom.
Okay. So was she already down there?
She was with him down there.
Okay. So wow. Oh
and
my goodness. Because they're wanting to gauge his responsiveness, and they're like, "Do you know where you are?" And
Right.
was that the question?
I don't,
He doesn't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but I'm betting that's probably from a
sure.
medical.
Yeah.
They're probably going, okay. They're seeing him come too. Do you know where you are? I'm in Florida with Moby, and your mother. That's what she hears, and she's thinking he's gone, and she's like, well, wow,
Yeah.
man.
And so we both lost it in the middle of Atlanta in the airport. Like,
God bless you.
we couldn't believe it. It was so, the feeling, I don't even know what you call it.
Well,
but
I can't even imagine.
we were sitting at a table.
Can't even imagine the relief.
And this lady was cleaning tables, and she came over to us and she said, "Are you guys okay?" And we were like, "I think we're going to be now." And we told her, and she said, "I'm going to pray some more." And she stopped right there, a lady we didn't even know. And she put her hands on us, and she prayed for John, and she prayed for us. And just again, the power of prayer. I mean,
Oh my goodness.
Mister's emotional this morning.
I'm telling you, bless.
We don't talk about it. Mom and Dad don't talk much about it. He does most of the talking. So,
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. But I really wanted to get your perspectives because we got a little bit of time. So when you think you're ready, John, I want you to get right up on that microphone, and I want you to tell us what you remember because, you had a miracle, young man. How does that feel? Get right up on that microphone for me. Yeah.
I just thank God every day that I am alive.
Amen.
If it wasn't for my Amy, I wouldn't be here right now talking to you. Oh, Mama, Daddy, nobody. But all I remember was I was in Destin. It was on a Saturday morning, and we went to church, and then we got to church. And it was very, very cold, and we went back to the condo, and when we got to the pool, I remember getting in and then swimming around. Then all I remember at 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and said, "Mama, I'm hungry."
That's the first thing you remember. So you were just, well, bless your heart then. I mean, that's a bona fide miracle right there.
Oh, the nurses were so amazed. They were calling him Superman.
I love it. That's amazing.
He cleared his lungs out, but he had been doing that since he was a baby. He's been resilient. For a long time, nobody told us he had cerebral palsy. And even in the NICU, it was never brought up. So then when we got home, he started having feeding troubles and difficulties. He was losing weight. He was crying all the time. We kept taking him to the doctor. Could not figure it out. It was one thing after the other. And finally, when he was 6 months old, they did a swallow study on him. And he had been aspirating his milk the whole time, but never got pneumonia because he was clearing it out.
Wow.
And I'm like,
tough young man.
When we went into the hospital, they put us in immediately, and his hair was just very light. Within a week, he had black hair.
Oh, how funny.
He turned around in a week, and then the feeding tube was placed. And of course, he's battled that. He's gone to therapy, bless his heart. And Obie, his grandmother, my mom and myself drug him to therapy after therapy because we were told, one of the therapists that we first saw said, "This boy is never going to do anything. He's not going to sit up. He's not going to talk. He's not going to walk." And I remember that day, I was devastated. And I had to pull over on the side. I found a parking lot. I pulled over on the side of the road, and I had to call my mother-in-law and Ted to come get me because I was so devastated. I was hurt and I didn't know how to react. And they came and picked us up on the side of the road. And, you know, Ted and I, we were determined that this child was going to do more than what they said. Mm-hmm. And he has.
Oh, yes, he has. And he's just getting started.
I know, right?
He's just getting started. What are your plans after high school, young man?
I am going to Ball State in the Springfield area.
So what do you want to study?
I don't know yet.
That's okay. I keep telling the students, I said, you know what? We talked a little bit about my background. I went to Freed-Hardeman and what's so funny, I'm a teacher now, and everybody's like, really? I started out as a teaching major, y'all. That's what I was. I was a teaching major at Freed-Hardeman in the fall in 1980 and got bit by the radio bug really hard and changed my major the next semester. But I started out as a teaching major and was going to teach English and speech. I wanted to be a speech teacher and a coach. I was going back because I played basketball. And so I just kind of came back around full circle. But I tell people, I went into college thinking, oh, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. You talk about freaking some parents out. I'm like, that whole teaching thing I was going to do? I'm going to be a disc jockey or I'm going to be a news person was my thing. You know, I did news. I was the college news director. But, yeah, I did a complete 180. You have to have life experiences before you can kind of really figure out what your path is. And what's really crazy is even then, once I knew I wanted broadcasting, I was going to be the TV news person, right? I was going to be that person. Well, then God put this traffic thing in my path, and I'll never forget it. They called me one day. I was just trying to get on the radio in Nashville, and they're like, "Can you do traffic?" I'm like, "Yeah." Didn't have a clue. 28 years later, man. So you just be aware. I say all of that to say, just keep your eyes open, keep your heart open, your spirit open to what the good Lord's going to put in your path. And the door is so funny. I tell my husband all the time, I said, we just got to pray for God to open the doors. And something happened the other day, and I said, that kind of feels like God's going, let me get the door for you. Let me get the door for you. Let me just open it up for you. He will. He'll open up the doors. He'll make it very clear. So I'm so glad you're going to be local because you can come see me. Come hang out with us. You just let me know, man. Come in. Because once we get the whole podcast thing started, we're going to want to know your story. I mean, we're going to do something about Greenbrier, but we're also going to do a history thing. We're going to do a thing called Who We Were and do the students' take on history. So if you've got something historical, other than the Young and the Restless.
Have you ever?
That's a back joke. He's been a fan for many years, and so it's just so funny. I love to tease him about that, but that's funny. We were talking about what would be your dream. We've got a project we're working on, and you've got to plan a trip. And I said, a dream trip. Where do you want to go? And he says this obscure place. I'm like, where's that? And is it where they're filmed? Yeah. Where this filmed, yeah. And I was like, oh, you're kidding me. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Okay, we've got about 8 minutes.
We made it.
Do I need to send you a teacher's note? Yes. John's going to be late. He was with Miss Vivio. I'll write you a note. I'll write you a note. Please excuse John to first block. I'm excused because that's my planning block. Okay, So here's something, and you do not have to do this, but I didn't even think to mention this, but would you want to sing a little something for us after I do my next break? I've got to do one more break. I know you sing a lot. You're in chorus, and they have this thing where they'll have entertainment during lunch. I haven't been able to get down there. We've got singing teachers. One of these days, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll bring my mandolin and play you a little ditty. But so they said, well, John's going to sing. And I've never been able to get down there when he does that. And I thought, okay, do you want to sing us something this morning, you think? Okay, I'm going to do my last break. All right. I just love this young man. He's so much fun. But we're going to pause, and we're going to, while he figures out what he's going to sing for us, you guys got it. Hang on, come on. This is awesome. John Cohea's with us, and you're about to hear from him musically here in just a moment. I want to talk to you about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. My friends in real estate, okay, save the date, third weekend in May. That is when we will be in Cross Plains for the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. That is where I met Barry and Rebecca. They are always sponsors of the event, and Bear's also on the board. But I always like mentioning that because, yes, they'll be there and you can come sit around the table and talk with them and all of those things. But I love the fact that that's just a testimony to the fact that they are in the community, wherever they're needed. I know that Jamie Nixon was in here, and he was talking about how Rebecca will sponsor different teams, things like that. They're in the community. They're involved. They're part of Robertson County. They've been up in Cross Plains for over 27 years, but they love the community, and you just couldn't ask for a better couple to sit around the real estate table with you. On the side of if you're trying to sell property, of course, Barry is your expert because he's a marketer, and he's going to make sure people see it. He was a marketing vice president of media marketing company for 17 years. And Rebecca, she's been at this for a long time, one of the first in the area to be a seniors real estate specialist. They love Robertson County. They know Robertson County. They specialize in Robertson County. But they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. So if you want to know more, get in touch with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, B-U-Y, robertsoncounty.com. Or just call Becky, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. And as I always say, let them know that U-Turn sent you. Getting back into our little show here, and that's the Rich Top Ramblers playing us in there. And if you did not realize that, that theme song came from the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival. Third weekend in May. You want to be there. All right, Mr. Cohea, John Cohea, my student. Just love this young man so much. So glad God put him in my path for his senior year. And we're going to get to hear from him. He sings. And so what are you going to sing for us, young man?
What a friend we have in Jesus.
I love this. The floor is yours.
What a friend we have in Jesus. All our grief and grief to bear. What a privilege it is to carry everything to God in prayer.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Okay, and here let's just have part of the testimony here. When you go and sing in front of the student body, what do you usually sing? Do you sing something spiritual or do you sing something else?
Something spiritual.
Why? You trying to get a little Jesus on these folks?
I am trying to.
Absolutely.
He is. I mean,
Absolutely. I
know.
So,
One day he said, I'm singing in the cafeteria, and I'm like, well, why don't you sing something that the other kids know? No, I'm singing to him. I'm like, okay. I
love it. I love it. And I just love that. And I got to thinking, because as a teacher, I have to be careful what I say. Okay, sure. I have to be careful what I say. They all know that I do ministry part time, with the church and stuff. And it was so funny. I was at the Vietnam Vets thing because I took some students on a field trip, and I try to be careful when I'm on a field trip, even not get too. I don't want to. I don't want to be prevented from being a part of their life. So I try to do what I'm supposed to do, right. What's required of me as a teacher. But man, every opportunity I get, I'm going to share it. And so I love that you do that. But I had my friend up there at the Vietnam Vets thing. I always refer to him as my brother, and people start thinking he was my biological brother. I'm like, he's my brother in the Lord Jesus Christ. And I thought, the students are here. And they heard that. And I thought, good. I don't care. But they were, I was hosting the event, so I didn't even think about it, but I was like, well, I got a little Jesus on them, and that's what you're doing.
He does.
I love it. So I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Guess what time it is? It is 7:59. School starts in 60 seconds. Right? Doesn't the bell ring at 8?
I think so.
I don't even know, because see, I have planning first block, because that was one of the things that we had to work out when they hired me, is I'm not going to give up the radio show. And so I'll write you a note, and we both got to head to school. So any parting thoughts, my friend?
No, just thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
And
Thank you.
We are coming back to unpack some more.
Okay, you want to come in and unpack more of the story? We've created a monster.
Yes, he doesn't get this from us. We don't know who he gets it from, but not us. We would have never got up. Ted was very shy. I was right there behind him in high school. We would have never done anything that he's done so far, so I'm thankful for that.
Well, I'll just put this invitation on the table, okay? Faith Friday. Faith Friday is when we are very intentional. So I can't say, hey, you can come in and just take over somebody's slot, but I don't think there's anybody that would be on here if John's like, Mom, Dad, I got something I just really want to share spiritual on my heart. You just come on down. You just come on down and just share it. And, the doors are always open. Faith Friday, if you got something you want to impart on us that, spiritual, you just come on. And we'll talk about some things we can talk about, and we'll get some other things together for sure. And I want you to be a part of what we're doing. Even though you're graduating, come on back. You're one of our alumni at Greenbrier, so come on back.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
No, man, just thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Mom, Dad, Karla, Ted, anything?
We're good. Thank you for having us.
Oh, my pleasure. My absolute pleasure. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for joining us for this very special installment of One Street Over. Thank you again, and I hope you'll join us Monday. It's all about sports. Jamie Nixon will be in here, and it's the first Monday, so we try to keep it all sports talk about what's going on in Robertson County. Hope you'll be a part of it. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless.
I believe